Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Puzzled Minds podcast. My guest today, or our guest today, is GIO. So please give him a warm welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Big fan.
You're a big fan of our five episodes, a very loyal listener. So we appreciate that, GIO.
Well, I've enjoyed it so far.
Thank you. So today we'll be talking about coronavirus (COVID-19) and its societal, economical, and environmental impacts. So do you guys remember like last time you guys hugged someone or shook a hand? Was that like ages ago?
I legitimately I'm almost forgetting to a certain degree. It's been long enough to the point where I have to actually think about it.
Yeah, I want to say the last time I shook a hand was probably like right before this whole thing started. Yeah, probably in January or whatever, maybe. But I guess that's
like 5 months ago.
Yeah. When you think about that, isn't that crazy though? We haven't had I don't want to say like interaction with people, but the normal interaction that we're usually used to of, shaking someone's hand or hugging someone, like it's non-existent anymore. And it's kind of like a foreign concept to us.
So I would say less. For me, I have to interact with people still. So I wouldn't say it's daily, but at least a couple times a week. And hand sanitizers everywhere, instead of handshakes, it might be a 5 or maybe just some knuckles.
5. I've never seen that, but now I'm gonna have to introduce that now.
Oh man, you gotta check it out. I think it had some like Wuhan nickname added to it or something, where they just dap each other up with their feet.
Oh, it's literally like I was thinking like a Spartan kick for some reason. Like, what's up?
No, you can't kick people.
See, when you said foot dap, I'm thinking of like some TikTok dance. I don't know why. Maybe that's just me trying to be.
Imagine the river dance, but to someone in front of you.
Yeah, no, now I think about that's kind of actually what I'm thinking about too now. Just kind of like river dancing, just like tapping, and then everyone just like putting their hands up, all that good stuff.
Yes.
But it's just like, the coronavirus has caused, different ways that we interact. And so what do you think will change with like the dating world? You think that, like the dating apps will not go away, but they'll be used less? Like, how are hookups or anything like that?
Think about the fucking strangers. Like that whole shit was nipped in the bud the second this whole outbreak started. I do think that it's changed things permanently just because of how I think the second you have something that's killing people, not like an ailment like a virus that's just like, oh, you get sick and recover. The fact that some people are just like dropping, right? And they really don't know why and things like that. I think that's why things are going to permanently change. Like if you think about like the whole dating world, like especially in this whole quote unquote millennial generation's way of dating, it's pretty reckless. You can download an app and meet somebody you don't fucking know. And for the most part, just, like Tinder, hook up with somebody. So, I mean, it just seems like that stuff is going to stop because even once things, quote unquote, go back to normal, I don't know if people still feel comfortable being like, okay, well, just because, the government says we can now go out and high five each other and start fucking, I don't know, hanging out again, doesn't mean that all of a sudden things are just going to go right back to normal. I think certain things are gone for good just because of, just how serious this is.
Yeah, I agree, man. I don't want to meet up on the first date. Let's chat a little more, maybe even do a phone call or like FaceTime. And I think that kind of is getting outdated almost. Like you don't call anymore, you just text. But
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to want to hear your voice. I'm going to want to talk to you like through FaceTime before I meet up with you because I don't really want to get sick and that's not worth it with a stranger.
Sure.
Have you guys seen the reporters, like how they're like 6 feet away, so they use like a little stick and they attach the microphone to it? Have you guys seen that?
Like the boom mic, almost more or less. Like it's the same style as a boom mic.
Yeah, kind of like a boom mic. Yeah, kind of like a boom mic.
Oh, okay.
What if people have sex using like that now? They put like dildos on the end of that for to
You
have
need like a
sex.
16-foot dildo.
No. It'll just be like a regular one, but they'll do like a
Dude.
boom mic little thing on that. Like that's how they,
Oh,
like
oh, dude,
social
like a
distancing
fucking
sex.
folding pole and just, dude, I don't even know, man. Like it just still seems unreal because the things that we have to go through now, like I'm just starting to get used to seeing people wearing masks to the point now where it's almost weird for me to see someone not wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how before, like a couple months ago, like seriously, we're gonna have to wear masks because the plague is coming. Now you're like, oh shit, people are dying from this. So now people wearing masks seems like the new norm. So I just think there's certain things we're just gonna get comfortable with. Even like you're saying, like people hooking up and stuff. Hookup culture is going to be directly affected by this. If anything, I think if whoever you're with right now might be you're better off to staying with that person because at least they don't have corona, or at least
Safe choices. Safe choices.
exactly. Why go out swinging dick and pretend you get the plague?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I wonder what, well, then what about the people that don't have someone like right now? Like, what would they just have to either risk it for the biscuit or?
They better get accustomed to X videos and bangbros.com because they are fucked.
I mean, you might find someone that's willing to go out too,
Yeah, I guess
I mean,
you just
you guys
gotta.
both have COVID. Why not, dude? Just like double that COVID thing up. It's like I got corona, you got corona. We can't make more corona, so why not?
What?
Can you imagine a dating website called peopleofcoronameet.com? It's like people
I
that
was
are already
just
doomed.
thinking that. What if instead you show people your antibody test?
Maybe we need to make this website now because this actually might be
Okay.
the safe thing to do. If you let
Look,
someone know that, hey, I have COVID and I have COVID too, so let's hook up because we're both positive.
or what if you show that your papers, you tested positive for the antibody 2-3 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Therefore, you're clear of the disease and you're essentially immune. You're free to go out now.
So essentially, we're just
It's
widening
true.
our market now. So I think we need to jump on this idea. We're going to call it I've had COVID, or I will have COVID, or I have COVID. I don't know what it is. One of those.
I've had
COVID.
past tense.
I've had COVID. Okay, I've had COVID.com, and if anyone steals it, we're coming for you.
I'm safe.
COVID.
Make out with me.
The tagline.
But the thing that you were talking about today was about how like face mask is kind of like the normal now. I was talking to GIO about this a little bit earlier. I think it was like earlier this week about how people, other cultures have used masks regularly before, and we used to look at them very different as as weird, I guess. For instance, like I want to say like the Southeast Asia, they normally wear mask for whenever they feel sick, or if it's hay fever season or whatever it is. Or I think sometimes they put it on, maybe they don't want to put makeup on, so they put a mask on to use it, whatever it is. Like it's a normal thing to put a mask on in there.
It's fashion now.
Yeah. I feel like the masks nowadays, they might be protective, but they're more so for fashion. Like the way that you see some people, like I guess more so of younger people, they have like designs on them, and they don't want like the regular like plastic one or whatever it is. The not plastic, but the like the one that
like
everyone uses.
One.
Yeah,
like you're walking to a hospital or something.
Yeah. But it might be two parts. One, because there's not enough to go around, so they have to make their own. But I feel like having that personalized element has become the norm.
Yeah.
I'll spend $1 more to have a Pikachu on my mask. Easy.
Exactly.
Sure.
See? There we go.
Stop. It makes it more normalized. You can probably get people. You probably have a better time getting people to comply to wearing these masks if they look not like an eyesore, versus if everyone has to walk around like they're walking through a hospital. Because even in like the culture, like you're talking about, like is it like China and Japan? Because they didn't start with they had a pollution problem, I believe, because the regulations out there are just wild, where people are basically throwing smog out there. So I think it kind of started with that, if I'm not mistaken. But you're right. They made it into a fashion statement to the point. It looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's like
Yeah,
you see it
it's
a lot.
legit.
Yeah, like they make it look cool as hell. Like some of them look like a ninja mask. I'm like, I would rock that even if there was nothing wrong with it. You know, I just look cool and mysterious. But I think that's the way to get it to work over here in the US. Like you would have to make it by stylizing it, you normalize it, and people won't feel odd wearing it. Because I feel like this, like it's like almost like if I feel like I'm going to be an oddball wearing something, I'm not going to want to wear it. But if I see all of a sudden that Supreme has a mask now, I'm like, oh shit, let me go cop one of those $5,000 paper masks, you know?
Yes, exactly.
But it also is, it's hot as hell to wear that. When you wear that, for me at least, I'm a cold person, so I love wearing the mask because it keeps me warm. But whenever it's hot and you wear it and you put that mask on, it makes me even hotter. So another thing also is just like it's uncomfortable, which
Yeah.
I mean, it's either that or spreading COVID, you know. So
Or die.
Yeah, or die. Which one do you want to choose?
Like pick your poison.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I agree with you. You know that we should not normalize it, but I think that what if we need to just introduce customization, because everyone wants to feel special, and if you are able to customize your mask, then maybe it won't, like you said before, like it won't feel as if we're running through a hospital.
Yeah,
like maybe
because you see
just
some people that are so yeah, dude. Like some people are so rejective of it, and I'm like, I don't understand it, because at the end of the day, if it's a matter of not getting sick or looking, I guess, fucking stupid, I'll be fucking stupid all the time, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to live. I got shit to do. But you got a lot of these people that have no valid reason not to wear it other than like, I don't like the way it looks. Okay. Like, really? That's going to be – that's your only argument against it? Because, I mean, the seriousness of this disease, as much as we're making light of it, it's pretty bad. I mean, you got some countries like Italy got wrecked. Italy is out there living in an episode of The Walking Dead right now, you know? So if something like a mask would stop the spread of this stuff, and I mean, if it's just about cosmetics and fashion, I mean, who cares? I think people kind of need to suck it up to a certain degree. But it just seems odd that like we're even having to like talk about these things in these days, where it's like, for the foreseeable future, I mean, wearing masks might become a thing. I mean, I don't think this virus is going to be cleared up in the next, year or so.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with wearing a mask. You could maybe say, okay, facial recognition software won't work or something, and we can elaborate on that later. But right now, I'm thinking it's just hygiene. Like, do you make fun of your friend who takes a shower? Maybe if they take 5 a day, but you definitely make fun of your friend that doesn't cut his nails, doesn't brush his teeth, and doesn't wash his hands after using the bathroom. Like, there's nothing wrong with hygiene. I think masks can stay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's this. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe we need to add masks to our website too. Every time you sign up, you get a free mask.
Yeah, free mask before meeting up with your potentially happy. Before you live your happy ever after, go ahead and grab a mask.
You get a customizable, one-time only mask for our website.
Submit me a photo of your dog. I will Photoshop its face out and print it on the mask.
There you go. That's the model, man. So let me ask you guys this. How long do you think how long do you think it's going to take until we forget about our previous, customs? Like, how, like, you were just talking about earlier, John, like, when's the last time you hugged somebody? The last time you shook somebody's hand? Like, how long when do you think that at this point we're going to forget about those times, and now just the social distancing thing can become permanent to a certain degree?
I don't know, because I feel like humans in general are things that need emotional, what is the word? Stimulation?
Support. Stimulation, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. And I don't know if this will be a thing for a while. Like, I feel like people are just gonna at some point they're gonna be like, I I can't do this. Like, we've been cooped up for a whole year now. Like, whatever, I'm going to risk it. I just think that because we're emotional beings, that we need that emotional stimulus or whatever it is, that I think we're just going to, some people are just going to risk it. And then, maybe some people will follow.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We do need social interaction. That's why, like, one of the worst things you can do to a person is solitary confinement, other than obviously like a death sentence, is because we need to be able to interact to really thrive as a society. So if you take that away, I mean, like you're saying, I don't know if it could possibly work, because even now you see people that are like, man, the government says quarantine. I'm like, fuck that. I'm looking at you, Florida. You guys all out there fucking doing whatever the hell you want. But it's just it goes to the point to show that, like, how long can we really, really enforce these things? Because I've never realized that I am a social person until the option to socialize was taken away. Like, where now you can't do it. Like, I can't
Yeah.
go talk. I'm like, well, now I want to do it, So now imagine if the government told you for the next 2 years. That's something that I also heard as well too. They said for the next 2 years, this could be the new norm. Like, obviously quarantine may be like the rules and regulations may kind of like loosen up a little bit, but with the way this virus is like spreading and, there's no actual, I guess cure is the right word, or some sort of vaccine to kind of like, simmer it down a little bit. This could be something we have to get used to. And that's the part where I'm like, well, this is a real reality. So I really don't.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think the social scene is going to quiet down. This past weekend was Memorial Day weekend, and around where I live, a lot more restaurants and bars kind of opened up to a degree how many people could be inside, and it was still a lot more quiet. And I think that's because people are afraid and they're taking it more seriously. But things like takeout orders, that's been like the big thing. Food delivery, big thing. I think it's going to change how we socialize. I even thought maybe, the way people do kind of conference calls and stuff to hang out with your friends is a big thing, or even a step further, like virtual reality. I think
true.
a lot of guys are into gaming. We can kind of hang out over a mic and, go for that dub in some like battle royale game.
Dude, speaking of which, dude, have you seen that rise in like people hanging out on GTA? I think it's GTA 5. That everyone now are doing like these massive meetups now. They're going viral. Like, people are literally like doing exactly what you're talking about, Giovanni.
Yeah, exactly.
Hanging out online, dude. Like, walking around the pier and like wherever, Santa Monica and GTA, and just like going up, like lighting places up. It's the craziest thing. But it's like the beginning of what you're saying, where like, if I can't physically hang out with my friends, I'm gonna go into this virtual world and do some makeshift version of it.
We're humans, and humans are always going to find a way. Even the dumbest human will find a way to get what he wants. And if we need to socialize, it doesn't matter. We're going to do it. We're going to find something to socialize with.
That's for sure.
When you mention that, so what do you guys think about like movie theaters? You guys think that like that's fucked, and they're not going to be here?
It's dying.
Anymore?
It's dying. Besides COVID, it's already dying.
It's dying, or it's dead. Like, it's not. Do you think it can come back, or it's like it's on its last limb?
Last limb, unless it comes up to be something more than a movie theater. Because I honestly rather watch it in my house on my couch with my snacks and my friends. That's it. It's better at my house.
I mean, he's right, because even before all this happened, they're saying that how like nowadays with like home theater setups and the standard technology you can get in your home gives you less of an incentive to go and pay double the price to go watch it amongst a bunch of people. And obviously as well too, when you have things like some people have kids and stuff like that, it takes a whole lot of effort to like get in your car or wherever and go to your local movie theater. And like he was saying, I mean, the only reason why, like, for someone like me personally, I like going to theaters is just because there's certain movies that you like having the experience, like Avengers Endgame. I love being in a theater, and having like, a bunch of people react to a scene when Thanos is like just dropping bodies and stuff like that. That's probably the only reason why I go to see movies in theaters nowadays, just to see a bunch of like-minded people react in the way that I do. But to be honest, like, it was already dying, and like even here, like AMC right now is bankrupt right now, and they're having to get bailed out. the biggest movie retailer out there is on the verge of bankruptcy. And that goes to show that like we're not going to movie theaters as much to begin with. So now you have this whole added issue where I could potentially get this life-threatening disease. Hell no. I'm chilling in my house watching Birds of Prey on my 4K TV.
I agree completely. The last couple of movies I saw was just to have the true cinematic experience. But other than that, I'm not going to the theater anymore. And let alone I'm going to go to the theater to risk getting sick.
So what about this? So I thought about this like a while ago. So you know how you said that you would rather stay at home and watch movies and use your own food and all that stuff. So what if Redbox becomes a huge thing? Like I looked it up earlier, but Redbox, I guess sales are going down. But with this whole COVID thing, like what if Redbox surges up again and people will use Redbox for older movies that they're not able to see. So what if we come full circle again and Redbox becomes the new Blockbuster where you can rent it at home?
Well, that's the tricky thing. I think Redbox is already struggling just because of physical media that's going down the drain. Like no one buys DVDs anymore. It's all about, can I stream it to my phone, stream it to my tablet, stream it to my TV or whatever. But I do think, to your point, you're going to see people I do think you're going to see an industry rise from this COVID situation of like anything that can give you access to doing it within your house. Like I wouldn't be surprised if like Hulu and all Netflix and all these people are like about to make a ton of money because what are people doing now? Like I'm not going to go to, I guess I'm dating myself a little bit, but it's like remember when Blockbuster back in the day was around where everyone's like, I'm going to go and buy a VHS. Like now it's like I'm not even going to risk going to a vending machine to get, a little Redbox thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see them go down the drain. If anything,
I agree.
You're going to see services like Netflix and HBO and all these other services, like really start probably doubling down on their commitment.
100% agree. 100%. You can have a video library. I don't need to go to a vending machine to see if they have what I want and then settle for anything. And it may even be scratched, not play well. I can download 100% perfect content and watch whatever I want from my home based off whatever library I subscribe to.
I think, yeah.
What would you guys pay? So let's say their movies won't be like in theaters, and let's just say that like movie theaters are done, which they are. I guess they pretty much are. Would you guys pay a little bit extra at home to watch it? So let's say like a movie ticket is like $13. Would you guys pay, I don't know, $16, maybe something around that range to watch the movie that you were supposed to watch in the movie theater at home? Would you pay extra essentially?
I guess to a certain degree, yeah. I mean,
I guess you would have to because you wouldn't be
able to. They kind of do that nowadays. I think there's some times where you can do this whole thing where I think you can watch a movie there's certain movies where they have same day as theater like options. I think you pay a little bit more, but like you can basically see the same day it comes out in the theater. But also as well too, I don't know if the movie and theater industry is going to go away entirely because that's going to make it that's going to make it almost impossible for some of these films to make their budget back. Because let's say, for example, even if I buy like for example, for Avengers Endgame, I think the ticket when I went to go see it was like $14 a ticket. So if we now eliminate theaters, that means that every time I buy it, I just buy it once and that's it. Think about how much money they're going to lose because these movies get into the billions of dollars because you have repeat people who go back again and again to the theater to go see it. So I don't know if the movie industry is going to even allow theaters to go in. They're going to come up with something new to get us to come back. Like I remember I went to this theater in New York City where it was like, dude, they had the chair. Each individual chair had speakers, and it had like this kind of like cool mechanism where they would shake. I watched Logan. Remember, I saw it a couple years ago, and I watched in that theater. And every single time, like Wolverine would rock somebody, right? The chair would shake, so you'd almost feel like, oh shit, I'm in that scene. And that was something that actually changed my movie going experience to the point where I was like, I would go see movies for this. Because there's certain movies that it would probably enhance your experience, like Ready Player One. As much as I do think 3D, 3D is a whole gimmick, it's not true 3D. But if you were to find a way for me to feel like I'm in that crazy situation and all that stuff, that would pull me from my little home entertainment system to go back to the theater. But I think these industries have to really revolutionize the way they're doing things because the coronavirus has made it hard. It's only made me more double down on I'm not going to the theaters. On top of that, you guys are already dying.
Mhm.
So there are certain industries that are fucked. Like even the music industry, concerts are entirely fucked right now. People that go to like you think people are going to go to crowded stadiums now to go see one motherfucker press a button on their like DJ kit? That's done. That's why you see Fortnite having live concerts now.
Yeah, I think that's well said, man. I'm not going to go to a theater. I can have everything in a theater at my own home, but I don't have a seat that shakes with certain scenes. So you got to give me something new to experience. That's the only way you're getting me to go somewhere.
Yeah,
Concerts. Yeah, man. I don't want to go to crowds either. What about like just everything that involves crowds in public? I mean, bars, schools. What about schools? Talking about doing online education for colleges. That's a different thing. Is that going to change our education system? What about?
I didn't even think about that.
What about 5-year-olds? You know, like it's different for adults to go to college and experience in-person education, but then be able to do it online as well. You know, education reform, sure. What about a 5 or 8-year-old? You know, are you going to teach your kid how to read online? I mean, I can't get kids to sit still in person. How are you going to do it through a computer?
Yeah, that's but I guess, you know, like kids nowadays are so, I guess, tech savvy, and they're so dependent on tech too, like at an early age that.
Oh man, you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe kids can figure out better than I can.
No, it's just that I think that because this generation is so, what is the word? Technologically adept,
advanced, yeah,
whatever the word is. Like they've incorporated technology into their lifestyle from the beginning, more so like how we had to integrate it into it, like maybe high school.
Yeah, at an earlier age is what you're saying. Yeah. Like they're more acquainted with. Yeah, you're right. They're more acquainted with technology at an earlier age versus we were back in the day.
Yeah.
And the one thing I was actually listening to this other podcast. It's called The Brilliant Idiots. It has Charlemagne the God and Andrew Schultz, and they were talking about this idea that I never even considered how this could potentially change college universities because now, let's say, for example, like to Giovanni's point, if you can get the same quality education online and things go back to normal, why the fuck would I want to pay $100,000 a year to go live on a campus?
Boom. Perfect.
People now are like, wait a minute. If anything, I learned more by being in the confines of, I don't know, my apartment, my house, or staying with my parents. And I just got the same level of education. And these guys are asking me for, 6 figures level of money for me to go live on their campus. I may not want to do that anymore. So you may find a bunch of people, once things go back to normal, if they ever do, being like, I'm not going to go back to, university and give them all this money when I got the same level of education being in the confines of, my another residence. And that could force some of these universities to change the way they structure a lot of things. Because a lot of times, like some of these big schools, like I guess like Notre Dame or I don't know, like LSU or, like some of these other famous schools, they make a lot of money off of just tuition and room and board and all that stuff. So if you start taking away certain things, I wonder if it's going to force some of these universities to just change the way they operate at their core.
Yeah.
So I to play devil's advocate, if we remove classes then and living with each other like in the dorms, then don't you remove like the social aspect of the college life? Like because people go to college to get the college life, to live in dorms, to party and stuff like that. And if you take away dorms, then aren't you taking away that, I wouldn't say milestone because some people don't go to college, but for those that do go to college, then they're missing that stepping stone, I guess, for lack of a better word, of that social interaction,
Yeah, I 100% agree because I know when I was in college, I literally studied and did my homework intensely Monday through Friday just to make sure I could go out on Friday and Saturday, either or. Maybe I would go to the beach or something like that. I wanted to do something with the weekend with my new friends and with friends that I was constantly making. And, social development is maybe not considered traditional education, but being socially educated is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And there's an argument to be had to say that the college experience, I guess I see what you're saying, because the college experience is essentially that weird time where you're an adult, but at the same, you get to experience the benefits of being an adult without too many of the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're away from your parents, so you get to do whatever the hell you want. You get to have fun and basically enjoy certain benefits of being an adult. But
Yeah.
each time you don't have to really deal with the consequences. So you're saying, like, if you take away that college campus life, now you're just, the second you graduate high school, you're a straight up adult. You're like, all right, bro, you gotta go learn and then go get yourself a fucking job. So I do think that society has ways of adjusting, though. I do think if you were to take it away, something else would take the place that would also give us the same level of social development. Because you're right, you do need that interaction. You do need to know how to talk to other people and interact and live your day-to-day life in a society. But at the same time, I guess maybe I believe human beings are a lot more adaptable than sometimes we think. And I think that if you were to take away that whole college campus thing, I think we'd find something else. I think it'd become I don't know. I can't even begin to think what would take its place. But I don't think that people would all of a sudden be like, all right, well, that's it. I guess I'm an adult, but I'm only 19. So it's just crazy to think that, I don't know, that like we even have to consider these things. But I think what we were talking about before, the biggest thing is like the social life, like bars, all those things. I think that stuff is the part that I don't even know how we're going to get to go back to that now, because you have some places that are solely dependent on it. Like some places that like maybe like, tourist attractions or things like that. Like what are they going to do? Where like, if you're like Vegas, where it's completely dependent on people going there and having a time of their life, but they have to physically be there, how are they going to stay afloat?
Bankrupt. You can't survive. Travel and tourism. Think about it. The airlines. Let's say you want to go fly somewhere exotic or whatever you think is different and fun. Now you don't want to go because of COVID. That airline loses business. That destination you chose, their hotel, whatever, loses business. Their taxis are losing business. Their restaurants are losing business. That's all around the world. I mean, I don't want to go out to restaurants now. If I get food to eat, I'm getting something to go, and that's it.
That's true.
So, so when you're talking about tourism, so, I guess you can even see those effects, like overseas. For instance, I saw something about monkeys in Thailand. And if you want, like the listeners, if you want to Google this, you just type in, I think, starving or no feeding monkey tourism Thailand. I think if you type that on Google, it should be like the first article. But essentially, because of the tourism is down, it's essentially zero. The tourists used to feed these like local monkeys, and because, like I said before, like the tourism is down, these monkeys don't have any food, so they're coming out of like the temple or the street, and they're now on the streets trying to look for food. So there's like a picture that you can see online. It's just Thailand, some part in Thailand, and there's just monkeys everywhere because of the tourism.
Oh, snap.
It's not, it doesn't, the societal impact doesn't affect just us locally. I guess it does. And if you want to think locally too, you can think of
New York. Think New York.
Yeah. The rats
in New York are the same as the monkeys.
Rats are having a field day right now.
Well, opposite. So you and I, we go to a restaurant, we hang out, we got some food, maybe we got some leftovers. The restaurant throws away some food at the end of the day, whatever. The rats go through the trash and they do that. Tourism, some trash, the rats can eat that. There's no more food that they're used to getting from humans because we're all inside. So now they're fighting each other and killing each other because they don't have resources.
You mean to tell me there is a rat massacre going, like a rat civil war going on right now, and I had no idea?
Yeah,
there is rat gangs and monkey gangs fighting to the death because they don't have food, and it's coming down to literal survival, and it means war.
Yeah, if you YouTube, what is it called? Bourbon Street COVID. I think it's a video of Bourbon Street, and because there's no one on there, you can see rats all over the streets. And
and we're used to hearing about animals flourishing and stuff. Like now we're not polluting everything, so animals are having their environment back. Some animals are dependent on humans, and so their environment is being shattered right now.
I guess, are there any animals that are thriving? I'm wondering, like, as a result of our, staying indoors and lack of presence, or are they all suffering? Or for the most part, I guess, the ones that matter.
I'm not an ecologist, but I'm sure there's a handful that are doing very well because of this, and a handful that maybe aren't doing so well. Yeah.
I'm wondering, I'm assuming all the, scavenger, animals like you're talking about, rats and things that typically are eating the scraps are probably like, what the hell? Our food supply's gone?
Yeah, definitely.
But things that probably live in, the rainforest or terrains that we typically tear down and shit, are probably like, yo, we are glad these motherfuckers got the plague.
Yes, exactly. One thing I heard about also, people are talking about smog, right? We're reducing pollution and all that. And you think about it, but also, are we producing more trash at the same time? I mean, I'm wearing more masks. I'm wearing more gloves. I'm using more disposable things just in public, kind of like sanitary wipes. Is that causing a different type of pollution or something? It's kind of crazy to think about what the environment's impact or our impact on the environment really is going to be after COVID or during COVID compared to what it used to be.
That's an interesting position, because I didn't even think about it. What's going to be the post-COVID world? What is it going to physically look like? I mean, if anything, it might be. I think for some reason, I think it's just going to be this is probably good for the Earth that we're not out there as much. But you do raise a point where we're probably producing more trash because we're indoors more, we're probably eating more, all those things. But in terms of the planet, probably recovering from all the shit we've been doing to it over the years, I'm guessing that it's probably glad, because I mean, I've seen photos of some places after a month, just some places that have been quarantining after a month. I forgot where it was, but there was some country where it was day and night. It almost looked like it was photoshopped. For only 1 month of human beings being stuck indoors, and all of a sudden it starts going. You can start seeing the sky again, and all that crap. I was like, oh man, it goes to show that we might be a little bit parasitic to this Earth when
Yeah. So
I went. Oh, hold on. I went to the lake actually for Memorial Day in the morning just to make a small little fire and have breakfast. There were volunteers that showed up there to clean up trash. I think they were there for at least 2 hours while I was there. I didn't see them pick up one piece of trash. And I bet it's because people have not been out there to pollute the lake.
Wow. Yeah.
So they're way ahead of schedule on cleaning.
So that, if you want to look at the positives of I don't know, that sounds kind of weird to say the positives of COVID. But if if you think about the positive in the sense of there's less pollution with this, no one's traveling through, no one's going to work through factories, or no one's commuting through cars. Tadiwa had mentioned how after a month you can see the difference night and day of certain places. So I think if you Google China pollution data COVID, I think there's a before and after picture. I think it was back in March or April they took the data, but the NO2 levels have dramatically decreased just from that 1 month where people weren't moving or people weren't going to work or whatever it was. And so for those that don't know, New Delhi was rated the worst air quality in all of the world. It's
wow.
Yeah.
Because of the people in one spot?
I don't know why. I read something that New Delhi has one of the worst air qualities in the world. And a way that I think it was back in 2016, one of the ways that the Supreme Court, I want to say, so for cars that had license plates that ended with an odd number, they could drive on odd days, and license plates that ended with an even number could only drive on even days. So that was their way of trying to combating like the air quality. But if you look up a picture now, like New Delhi, I can't remember what it is, but if you just look up New Delhi, like COVID, and maybe you'll find a picture. It's the first picture before this whole COVID. It looks like it's just like a scene out of like Batman. You remember in Batman when Scarecrow had like all the gas all over the city? It looked like
Yeah.
it looked like that. And then
Oh.
like now it looks like it's like a scene out of a movie, like a Hollywood movie. It's a complete night and day. And it's just, I saw this picture, I want to say a few weeks ago, and essentially it was saying that people want to go back to the old ways. But I think that when people say they want to go back to the old ways, does that mean that we're just going to have this whole pollution back again and stuff like that? You know, maybe we shouldn't be saying that we want to go back to the old way, but more so of how do we, what is the word? Like, let's continue what we're doing or try to minimize our impact, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, like keep the good things that have happened as a result of us not being out there going, you know, when we do return eventually.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part, because you got to get people to care about the environment. Some people do, some people don't, is the truth of the matter. I mean, you have like, you know, places like, I guess like China, for example, where they're more focused on, you know, productivity and just trying to get, you know, things done at the expense of, you know, their environment. So right now they're forced to be, you know, I guess environmentally friendly. I don't think it's really a choice. But how do you get people to understand like the benefit of it, other than being like, look up, you can see the stars for once, dude. Like, let's keep this going. So,
you know, that's one thing I never understood. I sometimes see people littering or maybe not believing in trashing the environment and its effects. And it's like, what is the worst thing that could possibly happen from you using a trash can? It would, maybe global warming or pollution doesn't matter, but at least it's not in your street or in your front yard. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit cleaner. And even going back to the old days, I don't even know if I want to do that. I want to go to the future days where instead I get to work from home always.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I have a couple of designated office days to have some social interaction with some coworkers and talk things out in person. I think that's pretty constructive. But really, every day to work on a computer, do you need to do that in the office, or can you do that at home?
You're right. I mean, there's certain jobs that you have to physically be there, but not all the jobs.
No. You know what jobs you're going to pick up probably? I bet tech jobs are going to pick up more now than ever. Everyone's working from home. We need tech things instantly, fixed, security, all that.
Yeah, people probably, yeah, you're right. Yeah, people are probably like, yo, I enjoy this, like not having to physically be somewhere and working remotely. So, yeesh.
And we all got a coworker we really don't want to see. It doesn't matter what day of the week is. We don't want to see them.
So I hope Corona took out Jerry. That's son of a bitch.
Get Jerry out of here.
Get Jerry the fuck out of here.
Fucking Jerry. All right, so you know, I guess to wrap this up, let me ask you guys, what is it going to be your guys' like first meal, like sit down meal, when this whole thing, I guess, not dies down, but loosens up? Like, what is your first sit down meal?
I'm just go to the nearest buffet and just get violent diarrhea. Just eat everything and get explosive diarrhea, and then just go back into quarantining because I'm just gonna pretty much have destroyed my internal organ.
Oh man, okay. For me, I got two things. I really, really enjoy. There's this one place that has the best wings, you know, so I might go there for that night. Or pho, you know, depends who I'm with. But that's really going to make the difference. I love pho and I love wings. That's two things definitely I'm going to go to immediately when I can.
Wait, so have you not taken pho like to take out?
Man, that's not the same.
Yeah, no. It does hit a little bit different when you have like their bowl. I don't know. Maybe it's
Yeah,
just
their bowl, their environment, it's
mhm.
different. Some music,
Yeah.
the old lady or person that's been working on this for their entire life and perfected it, and you see them walk it out to you. I love it.
Mm. I think I also have two also, and I think one will either be Chicken Box in Charlotte, or I'm probably gonna find a place that does shabu shabu.
Mm.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done shabu shabu. I think it's probably over a year. Actually, yeah, it was like the night after my wedding. So yeah, I would love to do shabu shabu again. Um, but Gio, thank you for being on here. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having me. I loved it.
For those that are listening, if you like the podcast, please smash that like button, follow button, whatever the hell it is. Follow us on our social media platforms. Our Instagram is Puzzled Minds Podcast. Our Twitter is Puzzled Minds Pod. And our email is puzzledmindspodcast@gmail.com, where we do encourage everyone to submit a topic you think that we should talk about and, discuss just like this. Other than that, everyone stay puzzled.
Peace.
Bye.